it's really great to see him doing what he wants to do and feeling like he's just literally protecting and serving.
Yeah, I mean, he's actively making a difference in everybody in America's lives. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Short Views. My name is Katie McMichael, and I'm the Executive Director of Movers for America. And I'm really excited about today's episode. We have Kaitlyn. She is a military spouse who just in this past year had her very first military move through the Global Household Goods Contract. So she's got a great perspective on moving and how it went. So Kaitlyn, thank you so much for joining us. If you could just tell us a little bit about, you and your husband's journey into the military, and maybe talk a little bit about your first moves that you've had.
My husband and I met about 10 years ago. He's only been in the military for about 2 years now.
Okay.
And we met in high school, actually.
Oh.
And we were friends for a while, and then we started dating. And he unfortunately got fired from his last job before joining the military, and that was just kind of his push to be like, I think I'm gonna join. And I said, do what you want, I support you, I'll follow along, but you gotta marry me if you join the military so I can come
Right.
with you. Our first move wasn't officially with the military. We went from Indiana to Florida, but he was already in Florida for his schooling, and unfortunately when they're in schooling, the military, I guess, doesn't help with that move for the spouse. So that move was just me and my dad. Fortunately, my dad decided to drive a truck from Indiana to Florida for me while I drove my car and our cat. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice of him.
it was very nice, very helpful. And that move went pretty smooth, wasn't too bad. But then from Florida to California, that's when we had our first official military move, and that was under GHC, and it was not what we expected.
Sure.
It was a lengthy process, a little confusing, and we ended up in California for just over a month without having any of our stuff except for the very basics that we fortunately brought with us when we drove.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so during that time, my husband left and went underway on a ship, so I was alone for a few weeks in an empty house in a new city, no friends or family, didn't have a job yet. So
That, yeah,
it was a lot.
that is a lot. So, we've heard obviously stories similar to yours where, you're trying to move, you don't have any stuff. How was like your counseling beforehand? I know that, military families are supposed to receive, counseling before their move, to kind of give them some information. How was that counseling, and is there anything you would do to improve that?
We didn't really get counseling. It was
Okay.
pretty much just here's the paperwork you need to fill out, and in the paperwork, here's kind of what to expect, but it was pages on pages of stuff.
It's hard to digest when you just get like a packet of, small fonts, and yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not the most digestible format for folks.
Yeah.
So, looking back on your first move, what are some things that you would have liked to know ahead of time before the move actually happened that maybe you weren't told ahead of time, especially for your first move?
I wish I would have had an idea of how long it would have taken for them to pack everything up. The guys packing our stuff up, it was only two of them, and I think they did the best they could, but I think they showed up at our apartment at around 1 noon or 1 that day, and they weren't gone until 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And then we immediately had to hit the road to get to
Right.
California on time. So I wish I would have known about how long it would have taken. And also, too, I wish I would have known to pack maybe a couple things myself.
Hmm.
Uh, just more like sentimental or expensive items. Nothing was broken,
Yeah.
fortunately, but it was a little nerve-wracking to watch it all go down.
Oh, sure, yeah, and that is something in the commercial space, like outside of military moves. We actually, I know a lot of the associations, they recommend that people, hey, if you have, sentimental things or high value things, or even things that, okay, that you need right away, right, when you get to your new house, taking those things with you and packing kind of a kit for the car can be helpful. And yeah, definitely, the time it takes to pack your things and unpack them because if people are working or have commitments, you think it's going to take a certain amount of time, so you block that, but then it goes longer. And I can see how that, yeah, messes up your schedule a little bit.
Yeah. And fortunately, we did plan a little bit ahead. We did bring our pillows, blankets,
Sure.
a few changes of clothes, but I was mainly concerned about my cat. He doesn't do great on moves, so I was really concerned about getting all of his stuff and making sure he was taken care of. That I kind of let
Yeah.
us fall on the back burner a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a long drive with a cat. Like, how did he do? How did he do?
He did all right, but unfortunately, my cat did not like being in the carrier, and he had to
Oh,
sit on the passenger's lap the whole
no.
time to feel okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that makes for a very long drive from Florida to California. Then.
Yes, I think we stopped 3 nights.
So it sounds like the most important things for the actual service when you're at the curb was just that they were helpful and friendly and things like that. Were they good at like explaining the process, especially when they were taking your things?
The actual movers that came and packed our stuff,
Hmm.
they were great. I mean, they bundled everything up much more than I probably would have even. And
Yeah.
then the people who unloaded the stuff once it finally got to me here in San Diego, they were also great. They put it all where I asked them to. I had a few heavier things that I needed brought upstairs, and they did that for me. And one of the guys, he actually checked and he was like, "Are you going to have anybody help you with this stuff?" And I was like, "Unfortunately not." So he made sure the heavier boxes were down towards the floor so I wouldn't have to be doing a whole lot of heavy lifting myself. So
Oh, that's
the
great.
yes, the movers themselves, they were actually pretty great.
Oh, that's great to hear. And we know a lot of movers like they really like doing the military moves because we have a lot of folks in the industry are ex-military and they just take a lot of pride in the work that they do.
I probably could have asked more questions, but it being our first official military move, I didn't know what to ask or really what to expect.
So recently, the Department of War and the PCS Task Force they put out their recommendations after talking to industry and some military spouse groups, stating that for the future of military moving, they're going to retain the current program and look to make greater innovations, consolidate some technology and things like that, and just improve the service for the military member. As somebody that has moved in the military and dealt with this, what are some things that could have, made your move better and that you're hoping, you can maybe see those changes in the future?
The biggest one is communication. The communication was not clear at all, and it was a whole lot of back and forth between, I mean, we called them almost every single day,
Yeah.
and it was constantly just, well, we're trying. Your stuff's just been delayed, only to find out in the end that our stuff had been sitting in a warehouse in Florida that whole
Oh,
time, and they never had anybody to take it across the country for us. And even though it still would have sucked to known that, it would have been a lot better knowing at least there's not movement right now.
right.
It would have been a lot better just having that knowledge. So
Yeah.
communication is the absolute biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of other military families in that, you get communications, you start off talking to your service branch and the folks there, and then it gets transferred to the move. Because I would assume that, like you said, if you knew that you were going to be without your things for a certain period of time, when you got to San Diego, you probably could have found ways to make things a little more homey till you knew you were going to get your things, maybe.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And so, as far as communication, and I'm getting a little in the weeds here, but what does that communication look like? Do you want phone calls, emails, text messages? What do you think works best?
I think emails would be great. I know phone calls kind of take a lot out of a person's day, and I know they're going through a lot helping a bunch of families move all the time. So I
Yeah.
think emails, it wouldn't be too difficult to just type up an email real quick, give a quick update every couple days at least.
You know what you're getting into. You know where your shipment is. That's definitely helpful. So, Kaitlyn, can you give us a little bit more background on, your husband's decision to join the military, why he chose his branch, and, really how that's changed your life and impacted you as well?
Well, he has a big family history of being in the military, and he's got uncles and his dad and grandpas. They were in all these different branches,
Okay.
and he chose the Navy. He felt like he wanted to be more boots on the ground, but not so much of like the Marines type boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And so he felt like the Navy was a healthy middle ground of what he wanted to do, but also good quality of life. He looks at it as serving the people. He's here to serve and protect the people of our country. And I just support him in that. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, kudos to him. Personally, the military is not something I could do.
Yeah.
But being a spouse, it's rewarding. It really is. It's a lot to be a part, but it's really great to see him doing what he wants to do and feeling like he's, you know, just literally protecting and serving.
Yeah, I mean, he's actively making a difference in everybody in America's lives.